Welcome, everybody. This is the BlackRant Podcast. I am BlackRant, your host, and today we're going to talk about a couple of interesting topics. So let's get right into it.
When he came to see me, he had almost no points. He was ready to look for a new career. You told me that better than anybody. He was looking for a job. And when I endorsed him, it was like magic. It was like he was a rocket ship. But I believe in loyalty. And, that's just very disloyal. If somebody got me into office, and I got him in, some people I help. Some people I help, and some people I get. And I got this guy in, along with some others. But some people I help, and that's different. Some people I help a little bit. Some people I help a lot. But some people I get in. I got this guy in. So, you think there'd be a little bit of a loyalty. And it's bad for the Republican Party, frankly. But let's see what happens.
So, essentially, Trump and DeSantis have been trading barbs back and forth. But it's only been recently that it's been a back and forth, a two-way street. And for the last several months, ever since DeSantis, flirted with the idea of running, Trump has been knocking him down, which shocked the hell out of everybody in the Republican Party. And especially my main man, Dave Rubin, has been really upset with Trump and thinks that he's been getting deranged. Like, Dave Rubin is like, what kind of deranged nonsense is this? Let me just start off with a Trump truth post that he put out. Well, he's been putting out a lot of truth posts about the indictment that just happened. So, but that's not what this video is about. We wanted to cover very specifically what's been going on between Donald Trump and Ron DeSanctimonious. Bruh. I think it's hilarious. But let me just categorize what's been happening here, right? First, Trump came out, I think it was last year, and essentially said that Ron DeSantis has some skeletons in his closet. His skeletons in his closet have been that he's been, he's caught on camera with some young underage girls, blah, 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 blah. Who knows what's going on here? And then, the Bushes didn't do DeSantis any favors, like zero favors, by coming out with the most loving advertisement about him. People are still very much aware. There's a reason why Jeb Bush didn't make it past the first round in 2015 and 2016. It's because people don't like the Bushes. People don't like the Clintons. People are fed up and done with those people. We don't want a dynasty of those people. We're done with those blue blood, silver spoon politicians who sit around and pretend as though they're blue collar when they're really blue blood. I can't even get down to some prior truths from Trump because he's just been going crazy in the last couple of days. On Truth Social, talking about his indictment, which is, very important. I just wanted to get a Ron DeSanctimonious quote. Anywho, doesn't matter. We know what Trump's been saying about Ron DeSantis. We know that he's been going at him, basically saying like he handled COVID poorly, which everybody understands that that's kind of like a ridiculous statement to make. And, saying that the governor of New York, Cuomo, handled it better. I mean, what a ridiculous statement to make. I mean, that really set Dave Rubin off. I follow Dave Rubin. I love Dave Rubin's content. He's fantastic. I love locals and all that stuff. But I think that Dave Rubin is a little misguided here because what Trump is doing is a higher level strategy when it comes to dealing with Ron DeSantis. And I think people are going to start to see it if they haven't already seen it, that Trump is once again on the money, another genius when it comes to psychological manipulation.
We're leading by a lot. We're leading DeSanctimonious by massive numbers. He's heading south quickly. No personality. You got to have a personality to win. He's got no personality. And
this is what Trump did. He found the insecurity and the weakness in DeSantis, and that is that Ron DeSantis, something that everybody has been saying about Ron DeSantis, is that Ron DeSantis, he's a really smart guy, but he is not a people person. He is not very gregarious. He is not like openly charming. He doesn't have that disarming ability that Trump has. Trump goes up to people like, hey, People just automatically love the guy because he's so personable. He's so relatable. He can get himself into that mode where he's just extremely relatable. But at the same time, Trump's like almost a super genius. He's like super smart. People don't really get that about Trump. They don't really realize that. I mean, they should, because the man became president and was a really, really good president. But they take that for granted with Trump because he like almost purposefully walks around bumbling and stumbling, trying to make himself look a little bit like, you know, not as powerful and not as intelligent as he really is. He's really good at that. Especially like when he's talking to a crowd, he's, you know, I don't know what they wanted to do with that. I don't know. I don't know. Like he'll just do that and you know, kind of, you know, play peg leg a little bit like that. But it's been clearly said that Ron DeSantis does not have that capability. He's very smart. He's a good executive as a governor, not a people person.
People have been quite kind of scathing. They've said you're house-trained Donald, you're Diet Coke to his full Coke, right? You've heard all this stuff.
Trump played on that in a very indirect way, right? Trump is such a people person that Trump knows that when people come around him, they're going to love him. They're going to love him. They're going to love me. They're going to love him. So what Trump started doing was making ridiculous statements and attacking Ron DeSantis, like almost in a cartoonish way, to the point where Ron DeSantis felt like we were confused. We were like, what is wrong with Donald Trump? He almost seems extremely intimidated by Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis thought, ooh, this is a chink in Trump's armor. He's afraid of me. And so he lured DeSantis out to make DeSantis feel comfortable with getting into a war of words with Trump. As soon as DeSantis got into this war of words with Trump, it was over. DeSantis can't win that fight. He can't. He just can't win it. He lost. He already lost. And that's the brilliance of Trump. It's like if you really want to fight somebody, right? And they've done nothing to you. Like, they've literally done nothing to you. If you want to fight somebody and you just, hey, I hate you. You suck. You probably got skid marks in your underwear. Your shoes are stupid. Your mama's fat. Like, you just, like, you have nothing really to say to this person. They're not really your enemy. But you're attacking them in the most ridiculous way, almost to the point where people are like, yo, are you going to let this guy say this stuff about you? It's ridiculous and it's not true. And then you get to the point where you're like, yeah, that's not true, man. That's not even true. All right. I'm getting tired of this. I'm the boss, man. I'm an executive too. I need to be shown some respect. He triggered Ron DeSantis's insecurity about not being top dog.
What I would just say is this. I roll out of bed. I have people attacking me from all angles. It's been happening for many, many years. And
it worked. And as soon as Ron DeSantis shot back and said, hey, this guy's whole family moved to Florida under my watch, I think I've done a good job.
If you say Cuomo did a better job with COVID than Florida did, first of all, that's not what he used to say. This is like new. Like 6 months ago, he would have never said that, right? He used to say how great Florida was. Hell, his whole family moved to Florida under my governorship. Are you kidding me?
As soon as he was combative with Trump, he lost. What Ron DeSantis should have done is he should have said, oh, you know, I love Trump. He's such a great old guy. You know how those old guys are. They're just so fun and they get upset about things. And you just gotta, you gotta let them be upset because, the world is changing very rapidly. And I understand they feel like they're being left behind. And I love that guy. He's so great. He's done so many good things for me and good things for our country. Give it up for Donald Trump. That's how he should have handled it. But he didn't. He's got the worst advisors in the world. They fell in for the trap. Now they're stuck in that trap because now every time the media asks for something, this is the other thing. DeSantis is boring. He's not even good to cover. The media doesn't even like covering the guy because all he does is talk about the policies and the facts and the things and the blah, 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 blah. He's not exciting. Trump is an expert with the media. He knows that even saying something ridiculous that is inflammatory, that doesn't help conservatism or republicanism or doesn't make us look like we're not racist or whatever, he knows that will still get airplay. And we still have Trump's name in our mouths 7 years after he originally tried to run. The man's name was in your mouth from the beginning of 2021 to the end of 2022 until now when he said, oh, I'm going to run. Wow. Why? Because everything is about Trump now. Everything is about Trump. That's Trumpism. That he is such a master marketer that he has learned how to make every situation about him. Now, I'm not going to say that he's a fantastic person to be around all the time, or he's somebody that you could be your best friend. I don't think most people would get along with Trump. He's on a different level, and he probably would be very difficult for most people to get along with on a personal level. But on a very superficial level, people love the guy. And so this is what he's come to understand. He is a brilliant marketer. Ron DeSantis' team is so bad. He has like some of the worst PR people, some of the worst marketing people, some of the worst campaign people. He's going around, Patrick Bet-David brought this up, that the launching of DeSantis' book was the worst launch he's ever seen. His launch of his book should have been right at the same time that he decided to run and announced that he was going to run for president, because he knew he was going to run. I mean, give me a break. But they launched the book in like February of this year. Absolutely ridiculous. Alongside that, it's like the messaging is so vague. It's playing. Listen, I think Ron DeSantis could have been a great president in 2028. But he was, and I know how politics is. People get in your ear. They start telling you how fucking amazing you are. You start believing them. People, oh, Trump's washed up. He's done. Trump probably deliberately allowed people to feel like he was washed up and he was over, just so he could see who was really going to come out against him. People were probably in DeSantis' ear. You're the governor. You're the most famous guy. You're the leading Republican. Trump is the only other Republican probably ahead of you. Look at what Trump has been able to do to DeSantis in a matter of weeks. Not only, and he didn't do it alone. The Democrats helped. The left helped. The Biden administration helped by indicting him, by trying to prosecute him. Listen, within the Republican Party, we can have our own ideas. We could look at people. We could, I like that person's ideas. I like that. I like Vivek. The average citizen who is not paying attention to politics doesn't even know who Ron DeSantis is. They don't give a damn about who Ron DeSantis is. They don't care. They don't know. Unless they live in Florida, they don't know who Ron DeSantis is. Or if they watch CNN nonstop every day, then they go, oh, you mean that racist guy? Nobody cares who Ron DeSantis is. Black people don't know who Ron DeSantis is. Most Hispanic people don't know. Your average, everyday working person. But guess what? They know who Donald Trump is. And that's all that matters, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? So you can't, it's not just about being inside the party. It's not just about beating Trump in the party. It's about beating Trump in the media, beating Trump on the national stage. And it's like how Ron DeSantis entered into this race without considering that, to me, is like, I understand why other people are running. Like, I get it. I get why Nikki Haley's running. I get why, Mike Pence is running. I get why a lot of people run for president to raise money, to raise their profile, to get a better job or a better position, to keep politicking, to continue their careers and all that other stuff. Ron DeSantis actually had a real shot of being the next president after Trump. But what did he do? He decided to stay loyal to his Yaley roots, to the Bushes, to the rhinos, the neocons. He decided to side with them. And that's why it's like all this MAGA America First type behavior really only seems like a thinly veiled facade of what we would actually have if Ron DeSantis were the president. He's just a better version of Jeb Bush. He's just a more exciting, less boring version of Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida too. Jeb Bush is probably the most boring man I've ever seen try to be president. Okay? That's why he had to put an exclamation mark after his name when he was running for president. Like, there was no excitement for Jeb. He had to create it. That's why he actually begged people to clap for him. There was nothing there. And that's what's going to happen to DeSantis now, too. Trump is very good at naming people. He named him DeSanctimonious. That was a little too long. And so he started calling him DeSanctus. And it's like, now you're like, well, that's pretty catchy, too. And listen, I have nothing against Ron DeSantis, except for the fact that it's like you made a very bad political decision. And now it would only be by Trump's grace, if he wins the presidency, that your political career can continue. As he said in this clip, he was looking for a job when he was running for governor because he thought he was going to lose against that guy, Gillum or whatever, the crackhead guy. He thought he was going to lose. Trump endorsed him, and we all know that that's how it went down. He endorsed him. He went up in the polls. He did rallies with him, and he won. Trump is 100% right on that. I don't think he's 100% right. And, no, he's 100% right, because he did say in this clip also that, he helps people, and some people he pushes all the way across the finish line. Ron DeSantis was one of those guys he pushed all the way across the finish line. Some people he helps, some people he helps a little bit, some people I help a lot. But he pushed Ron DeSantis across the finish line. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is DeSantis, his ship has sunk. Okay, he's going to get a lot more money and a lot more donations, and he's going to continue on probably into early next year. I would hope he would end it earlier than that. Like, I really think, but that's so embarrassing. If he doesn't try to go all the way at this point, it's just going to be really embarrassing. Unless he comes up with a really good excuse like, hey, I just really want to get back to Florida and taking care of my people in Florida. Maybe he should say that. But that would probably be, people will go by that excuse, right? But at this point, I just do not see him getting on a debate stage with Trump and winning. There's nothing, I don't see it. And they have their first debate or something in the fall in September or something like that for the primaries of the Republican Party. I don't see DeSantis winning in Iowa. He can't even touch Iowa. I can see him, maybe made some headway in New Hampshire. South Carolina is one of those states that's just so, God, these people can't get it. They want to be rhinos so bad. If they can get along with Democrats, because it's the South, right? If they can get along with Democrats and not really rock the boat, oh, they're so happy. They're so happy. They don't actually want to win. They just want to coexist. Yeah. So, and so that's what's happening right now. A lot of Ron DeSantis is running through the party, trying to get endorsements so he can win the technical race through endorsements. But that is not the race. That's not the thing that actually gets you over the hump. That's not the thing that actually wins you the whole party's endorsement. And Trump knows that. And Trump knows that he's going to have some dissenters. He's going to have people who are looking for something new and, aren't quite sure. But guaranteed, as these indictments continue to come out, as the deep state and the media continue to attack the man, Trump is just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's the most wildest thing to watch, to be honest, because as that happens, you actually watch Trump's body language, his attitude, his charisma just start shooting through the roof. And, how does this end? How does this end? Does it end with an assassination attempt? How does this end? I don't understand how this ends. If we were living in a fair world, it would end with Trump obviously becoming the next president of the United States. But it's like in 2020, it didn't even look like there was. It's like, well, this is obvious. Trump is obviously going to win. In 2024, it should be obvious. But, we know how that happens. We can't count our chickens before they hatch. We have to actually sit and go through the motions and watch this stuff unfold and actually work on this as we move through the next year. And so many different things can happen through the next year. We could have a financial collapse. We could have all the riots. I mean, guarantee, just get ready. I mean, they're talking about aliens landing, crash landing, people seeing 8-foot aliens in their backyard. The police are seeing it. It's on TV and stuff. I mean, good God, who knows what's going to happen before the end of this cycle? I mean, we are being tested, quite a bit as a society, as a nation, as a species. The human species is being tested, but I think almost universally, for people who are aware of what's going on this planet, people know that, and this is how Trump has marketed himself. This is what I'm saying. He's such a brilliant marketer. The reason why he did so much to establish the character of Trump in his first presidency, whether he said crazy stuff or not, build the wall, build the wall. People now know, well, it's basic, right? People see what's happening at the border, and then they go, well, Trump said build the wall. If we had a wall, this wouldn't be happening. But Trump said build the wall, and y'all didn't build that wall? Well, if you would have listened to Trump, this wouldn't be happening. That's brilliant marketing. It's like marketing that takes time for people to figure it out, which is even more powerful because people are seeing it in live time. When he said it in 2016, people are, oh my God, that's the most egregious racist thing you could say. Now that they see these people pouring over the border by the millions, they're like, oh my God, did y'all hear what Trump said? Build that damn wall. The same stuff that he's talking about. That's why he said it in such a simplistic way. And I was one of those people too. I was like, man, I wish Trump would explain what he's talking about. It's self-explanatory at this point. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to anymore. It's just the left has gone so far over the deep end that you don't have to explain this stuff anymore. You just have to be solid on what side you're on. And that is what Trump has done. He's firmly positioned himself as anti whatever that is. That's the marketing that Trump has done. Brilliant. Anti whatever that is. And DeSantis cannot do that because he's too nuanced. And God, do I love nuance? Do I understand that nuance exists in this world? Oh, yeah. Man, if we lived in a world with people that had my intelligence level or the intelligence level of probably my viewers and people that are, Rand Paul would be president. But guess what? We don't live in that world where people can understand the finer subtleties of politics and geopolitics and economics and health and healthcare. People don't get that. So only thing people understand is my gas was cheaper. Man, I ain't seen gas that cheap since I was in high school. People know that. People understand that. They don't understand. Well, we got the policies, and we did so much, 35% and 57%, and 26,000 teachers were given. It's like that's Ron DeSantis. Trump, build the wall, build the wall. That's Trump. People get that. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, DeSantis has already lost. Because he picked a fight with Trump. Rookie mistake. Trump goaded him into this fight, knowing that DeSantis couldn't win. And DeSantis has done nothing but has put himself in line with every other Republican that's tried to match with Trump. Why? Because DeSantis has cue cards. DeSantis has PR people. And Trump has all those things too. But then he throws them away as soon as he gets on stage and says, this is what I'm going to say. And you can't beat somebody like that who's good on their feet all on their own, when they've had time to think things through and talk. Trump is sitting there thinking, what if I said this? You can't beat somebody like that with cue cards. You might get one shot in, but you're not going to get that shot again. And that's what we've seen. Politicians, they'll have the cue card thing and they'll just repeat that same thing over and over and over again in every single speech or in every single debate. And the opponent, the other politician, will just have another prepared jab, or, and it's just like these two prepared concepts and ideas about these people that have been put together by think tanks and PR teams to go at one another. When Trump is on stage and he goes, and Hillary Clinton goes, I'm glad you're not in charge of our justice system. He said, because you'd be in jail. You can't freaking focus group that, man. Like that, off the cuff like that, off the rip. You cannot focus group that. You can't. You can't. When when Jeb Bush tries to, have his pre-prepared audience boo on every, thing that Trump says, and Trump says, hey, listen, all those people out there are donors. All those people work on his team. For all y'all at home in the TV land, I just want y'all to know how this works. These tickets cost money. And the only people that bought these tickets are his donors. That's who's booing right now. And when he broke that fourth wall, it's like people are, whoa, oh, okay. When Trump goes, you know what? I donated to all these people's campaigns in the past when I was just a businessman. These people took money from me. They were glad to take money from me. Now all of a sudden I'm a nasty guy. I'm the worst person in the world. Why didn't they say that when I was offering them, writing them checks? You can't PR focus group that. And that's the thing that DeSantis can't do. Yes, DeSantis, we give you credit for your military's time and service, but you were a lawyer in the military. You were a lawyer. You weren't a combat veteran. You like, it's not the same thing, right? So you're a paper pusher in the military. I give you credit for that. That takes a lot of, that's a lot. That's amazing. Good job. But then you went from that to being a politician. It's like, so what other world have you been in other than lawyering and for the military and politicianing, politicking? And that's the advantage that Trump has over every single politician. So, I mean, and at this point, he's sharpening all his tools. He's reinforcing his armor. I mean, they're going to come at him. The Democrats are going to come at him with more things than the Republicans can come at him with, because the Republicans know that they'd be hypocrites for a lot of the things that they came at him for it, because they already endorsed the man already, especially people like Nikki Haley, especially people like, all they can say is, well, this is what I would do. I respect President Trump, but this is what I would do. That's all they can say. And so that's the trap that DeSantis has fallen into by trying to associate his governorship with running the freaking country. No competition, bro. And in his line that he keeps saying over and over, he said this like 3 times. Damn, his whole family moved to Florida under my watch. It's like, dude, he already lived in Florida. What are you talking about? Trump bought Mar-a-Lago decades ago. Like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. It's not even a true statement, right? If I own property that I vacation at like all the time, and then you say, well, I moved there because of you. It's like, that's some absolute nonsense. It gets a couple of chuckles, but but it was written down. It was pre-planned. It was his PR people came up with it. It's like, give me a break. And like I said, man, he could have been a really great president in 2028. He could have been fantastic. But at this point, he's like slaughtering his career, because when you run for office, you expose yourself. And if you don't run the right way, you expose yourself. If you run the right way, you could set yourself up to look fantastic. Like Tulsi Gabbard ran the right way. She ran against her own party in a way that was ethical and integrity, like had integrity. And it showed that she's willing to break with the party to say what's right. And people vibed with it, man. Most people vibed with it. And then so CNN, Hillary Clinton, all these people tried to say, oh, she's a Russian agent. It's like, dude, everybody that doesn't agree with them is a Russian agent. It's just insanity. It's just total insanity. Tulsi Gabbard said, hey, listen, Kamala, you didn't bus to school. You didn't do any of that. You when you're in your district, you locked up people's parents for smoking weed. Who are you trying to pretend like you are right now? Called her out on the spot. Called her out. I mean, that's how you run if you're going to run and you know that you don't have much of a chance to win. You do it for a reason, for a purpose. Now, if Ron DeSantis was running to make Trump look better, I'd be like, okay, you're setting yourself up for 2028. But he's not doing that. He's really trying to run against Trump. Bad idea, man. Bad move. Move on. Good night. It's not going to happen. Sorry, Ron.